We're joined now by Senator Patrick Brazeau, an Aboriginal man who's part of the Conservative government. Hey, welcome back to the program, Senator.
Thank you. Just glad to be alive.
You know, this Idle No More protest, I disagree with some of their vague goals. It feels sort of like Occupy Wall Street. But I like the fact that it's given us an opportunity to talk about Aboriginal rights and laws and duties and problems in Canada. What do you think?
Well, look, I haven't hidden the fact that, Aboriginal peoples all across this country have very valid claims and concerns with respect to how their issues are being dealt with. But I haven't hid the fact that I don't support the means and manner in which this is being conducted in terms of having protests and having economic disruptions, because at the end of the day, there are many hardworking Canadians and First Nations people who work and pay taxes, which enable a lot of those funds to go to First Nations communities for the benefit of First Nation citizens.
You know, I've been focused really closely on the Attawapiskat ban in Northern Ontario because the chief there, Teresa Spence, has really thrust herself in front of the cameras. I mean, she's camped out in Ottawa where the media is instead of up in Attawapiskat. And the more I look at the Attawapiskat financials and who's getting what gravy and who's not, I think that there is room for an Aboriginal protest, but it's at the local band council offices. It's for more democratic accountability, better governance, better financial management. As I've always said, giving ordinary Indians the same property rights that everyone else has. I think that a lot of this is about channeling and projecting real problems onto people who, well, maybe they can have some role in solving it, but I think Chief Spence probably has as much to answer for as Stephen Harper. What do you think?
Well, I couldn't agree more. I've always said that if Idle No More was about eliminating the Indian Act, which is the most racist colonial piece of legislation in the Western world, I would be the first on those front lines to support the movement. However, there are issues such as a lack of accountability on reserves, such as a lack of governance, and giving the power into the hands of grassroots Aboriginal peoples and not the chiefs and band councils. And so we're not hearing any of that. And, you know, I feel that a lot of the Idle No More movement is, in effect, a smokescreen because of the accountability legislation in particular that the Conservatives passed that will force band chiefs and councils to disclose their salaries and expenses from this day forward.
You're exactly right. I've been poking around. I mean, Chief Spence and her boyfriend, who is the town financial manager, they're bringing home close to $300,000 a year. I mean, there is money on that reserve. It's just not going to the leaky roofs that need it. Let me ask you this. Chief Spence, who's got this sort of half hunger strike, I mean, she's just as chubby as me, and she's claims she hasn't eaten a bite in 24 days. Anyways, she says she wants a meeting with Stephen Harper. She's not very specific about it, but the Aboriginal Affairs Minister has offered to meet with her. She said no. If I'm not mistaken, Leona Agluka, who's an Inuit cabinet minister, offered to meet with her. She said no. Your Algonquin Indian, you offered to meet with her. She said no. I think that she's just an anti-Harper activist, because if she wanted to talk to people in power, I just mentioned 3 names, including you, who have the ear of the Prime Minister and who could actually make a difference. What's her stunt about if she won't meet with you?
Well, again, it's unfortunate that she has chosen not to meet with those who have offered and extended a hand to do so, including myself and the minister repeatedly. I even, on behalf of the Conservative Aboriginal Caucus, extended our invitation to meet with her and to any other individuals who may have issues to discuss in terms of finding solutions to move forward. Because, look, you know, people could protest all they want. They can jump on any bandwagon all they want. But at the same time, we need to hear the solutions that they have to offer so we can start working together and not just protesting for the sake of protesting. And obviously, you know, this is becoming a highly political protest and it's becoming an anti-conservative one, because at the end of the day, there are many governments, both Liberal and Conservatives, past who did a lot of wrongdoings to the Aboriginal peoples. But we are in 2013, and why didn't this protest started when the Liberals were in power for 13 years?
That's a great point. You know, you are on Twitter just like me, and I like your style. I mean, we first met when you were in the boxing mode, and, you know, you can take a punch and get right back up, and it doesn't get you down. You're on Twitter. You're fighting everybody, because all these official Indian industry people who don't like your talk of accountability, they're shooting darts at you on Twitter all day long. Tell me some of the abuse you've received for the fact that you're not going along with the idle no more point of view?
Well, here's one thing that's very important and puts me in a very unique position. I can say that I was a national chief prior to my appointment to the Senate, and now I'm part of the government, so I know how it works both ways. And there are a lot of people who may not like that, who may be jealous of that, or because of the fact that I'm part of the government, many Native people will resist and oppose that. So obviously I've gotten some death threats, a lot of unclean messaging in terms of the names that have been directed at me, but some of it comes with the territory. But in the realm of some of the comments that I've received, it's unfortunate that people have to stoop that low, especially when I'm trying to help them and trying to provide a voice for them in Parliament, as opposed to working against them, which unfortunately is what some believe.
I think Aboriginal people should be involved in every political party. It should not be a political monoculture. Listen, we're almost out of time today, but I'd like you to come back on in the days ahead, because I want to talk about what it's like to be an Indian who is a dissident or a skeptic or a critic of the Indian band council or chief, because I could just imagine how tough if it's tough for you as a powerful senator in Ottawa to be a dissenter of this idle no more. I can only imagine what it's like for an ordinary grassroots Indian, say up and out of Wapaska, who wants to speak out about Chief Spence. I can just imagine the obstacles in there. Can we have that discussion another day, because we're out of time today?
It would be my pleasure, because that's a very important theme that certainly your listeners and all Canadians should listen to. We
need to strengthen the healthy governance and debate in Aboriginal people. I actually embrace this idle no more discussion, because it gives us a chance to talk about things that we've been quiet about for too long. Senator, thanks for being on the show. You keep fighting, okay?
My pleasure.
Bye-bye.